Hi everyone, this is Steve Black with Content for Coaches, and in this video I'm going to be covering the global styling for your pages in your websites and funnels. The really cool thing about Content for Coaches platform is the ability to change H1 tags, normal paragraphs, etc., so they've got a consistent look and feel across all of your pages, as well as colors if you've got a color scheme and fonts that you want to use. So if you want to set up your global styling when you first launch your page, you'll be able to do that. In fact, you can do it anytime during the build process, but the third icon down on the left hand side on the menus here is global styling. Click on that and you'll see with the global styling that we can actually change the text styling, we can add new fonts, we can change the color palette, website layout, and the page styling. I'm going to start with the text styling. So with the text styling, what you can see here is we've actually got a number of different fonts, and we've actually got them labeled for paragraph, which is normal, and then the H1 through H6 settings for the heading tags. Quote tag is for the quotes. Normally most people would do this in italic font or something like that. Then you've got the ability to change the text link color and the text links on mouse over color, as well as underlining or not underlining them. Now, if we take, for example, this is a H1 tag on the middle of this page right here. If we change this from Verdana to something like Hind Siliguri, you can see that the actual headline changed at the same time we did that. If we change it to Courier New, you can see it changed to Courier New. What you can also do is change the size if you wanted to make it smaller or larger, but this is for not editing individual text. This is to change it across all your pages. I'm going to reset that back to the 72 and we're going to put it as Open Sans. That way you can actually see how that's changed. Once you've done that, you click confirm and you've basically set your H1 tag for all of your pages. Now back to global styling, text styling. You want to do the same thing for all your heading sets, your normal and your quote, so that we actually get a consistent view across all your pages, whether it's your coaching landing page or it's one of your funnels where you're doing sales. You want to get a consistent look across all your sites. The good news is on the mobile, you can change it exactly the same thing. Now this one's set at Lucida Grand. I want to go back to that Open Sans. I prefer the look of that. Change it to Open Sans. Again, it's a set of a smaller font on the mobile, right? We don't need that big 72 point. The default settings are pretty good for the sizes you need on the website. The only thing I would say is if you need to change out the font, definitely do that. If you want to change the sizes a little bit, you can actually do that. This one we've got Open Sans here on the mobile at 14 point. I personally think that's a little bit small. I like to go to 16 on mobile, so I'm going to up it a little bit easier to read. On the desktop, it actually didn't change it. It's still set at 16. Now, I think 16 is too small on a website, so I'm going to go up to 18 with a 1.6 line height. That's a pretty good size for text on a web page. That's your text styling. Click on confirm. That's now set for every single page you add to this website or to a funnel. You set the global styling and you're done. Next on global styling is add fonts. Now, some of you will have your own fonts that you use with your program. You may have used a Google font, or you may have actually had a font designed for you. You get two options here. Right now we have these two fonts listed. You can click on add fonts. That gives you access to the 900 plus Google fonts that are already in the system. For example, Roboto is one of those fairly popular Google fonts for websites. You can actually pull in the regular, which is the normal weight, or you can go up to a big bold at 900. Let's pull in the regular italic as a font. And what we've done now is add that font to the website so that if we need to use it to change text, we can actually use that font. If you have your own custom font, click on upload font. You have to name the font. For example, on my website, I use Gotham. It's not one of the Google fonts, but I've actually had it since I created the brand. So I uploaded my Gotham fonts to do this, to do my website. And then they recommend a WOFF format file for the fonts, but mine are TTF and OTF, and they work very, very well. Just name the font, upload the font, and it will add it into the system. The only thing we do is limit you to 8 fonts within a website, because we want to make sure that your pages aren't bogged down with a lot of extra code to upload. If you've got more than 3 or 4 fonts, I think you need to cut it back a little bit, because most people want a clean looking view, and I think you can get away with 2 or 3 fonts, maybe 4 if you do the quotes in a completely different font, or you have special things that you want to set up. but you don't need 8 fonts in most cases. If you feel the need to use them, you can do. Back to global styling, we also get to change the color palette. This is the really cool thing. You get a primary color and 4 secondary colors, and depending on how you set things on your page, you will have used certain colors to create your style. You may have a set of colors that you actually like and use for your business, and you'll be able to program these in. You see the blue here is matching this blue that's across here with the text, the little icon here, the little button down here. If we actually change that blue to maybe a orange, what you'll see is the text changed, the phone icon changed, the location icon changed. They all changed to that orange that we just selected. We can go back to the blue again, and it changed it back to the blue. Again, whatever you set to a color, if it's one of the primary or the secondary colors that you've chosen when setting a color. So for example, we click on this, let me changes there. We click on this and the color, you'll see that the button color is set. You need to check one of your global colors when you're creating buttons to make sure that it actually defaults to the primary. The really good news about when you're adding widgets is they normally default to the primary color anyway, so you have to make less changes. You can do the same with your secondary colors. On the different secondary colors will choose different colors throughout the system. Scroll down a little bit. For example, there's your blue primary color again. These are the blue primary colors. Again, if we go into the global settings, we go to the color palette, we pick that blue, we change it to the orange. You'll see that these change to the orange as well. Everywhere that primary color is set will be changed once you change your color. The good news is, again, you load a page, it will take on your primary colors where they've been set in the template. So you create a new page, if you create it from a template, it will take on those primary colors. Background color of the page you can set, your main text color you can set. Depends on the font and how you want to do that, but you've got to figure out what your format is for your color palette and your layouts. Next we have the website layout. Now most websites for desktop, you're best running the width between 11 and 1200. But if you notice these 3 boxes on the screen here, just down here, if we actually scroll across with this 300 and start spreading it out, it actually spreads out the boxes and takes more of the page up, leaves a smaller gap to the sides. And that's basically a default setup for every single new page you add to the system. You've also got the full width of the box. The box would actually create it all in a box and leave you a pattern or a color style to the side, which you can actually change. You can add a new file to actually choose a background pattern if you wanted to, or you can choose one of those that's already there to actually set up the box. I prefer the full width because there are other advantages with that later on that you can set with designing your website. A lot of different things you can change with the global styling to make it the way you want to look. Page styling, we've also got a background image if you're going to do the boxed set, so we can actually add a background image on there. We can actually repeat and change how the background image is on the actual site. So and we could also set a background color, so we could actually pick our primary color as the background color, and then if we went to the website layout and went to boxed, click confirm,